next on AM 1480 WLEA, the Newsmaker Show. Here's Brian O'Neill.
Glad to have with us in the studio Hornell Mayor John Buckley. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me on, Brian. It is a gorgeous day in the Maple City today.
Oh, it is nice out there. Let's talk local issues in segment one here. Your citizen recognition program. Saw that you just gave out a couple of more certificates just the other day for nice landscaping and nice flowers.
Yeah, so this is something that I talked about last year that I wanted to implement, and we started rolling it out early in the summer. And the idea behind it is just to recognize citizens throughout Hornell for the things that they do, for the landscaping, folks that go, above and beyond and beautifying their properties and in effect it beautifies the city in their neighborhoods. And I think it has an effect on their neighbors, and kind of a contagious effect where other people want to do the same thing. So it's I think it's a really nice thing, and people should be recognized for their efforts. We've had a lot of people that have been doing it for a number of years, and we did two just the other day, and great outcomes. They were very happy and surprised, because I actually surprised them. I set up an appointment, but they had no idea why I was coming there. They thought I was coming to talk about some neighborhood issues. So, but it's a nice surprise. So it's one of the things that I've been trying to do is just kind of have these recognition components throughout the city for residents and employees alike. We just had our first annual summer picnic down at James Street Park for the city employees, and they work hard all year round. The police department, fire department, DPW, the water treatment plant operators, they all do a great job for us. So just wanted to take time to recognize them and celebrate, and have their spouses and their children come, and we had a great time.
How about the employee spotlight program that you've been doing? Yeah,
well, that's another thing. We take recommendations every month, and we shine the spotlight on one deserving employee and just kind of highlight what they do and what they've done for us, and just another great way to inspire other employees and keep morale up. So just all positive things I've been trying to implement throughout the city as in the first 7 or 8 months of my mayorship.
Driving through the North Hornell, you drive down Seneca Road North, and you can't help but notice how amazingly fast the hospital progress is coming along.
It really is. And you think about the rough winter we had last year, and it didn't really slow them down a whole heck of a lot. They kept plodding right through, and the buildings going up. The medical village part of the project is near completion. They're ready to move tenants in this fall, so that'll actually be partially occupied this year. I expect it to be fully occupied into next year, and then the actual hospital itself, they're planning on opening that toward the end of 2019. So all great things, a lot of positive activity, a lot of positive economic activity and development going on here in Hornell, and it's going to have a great effect not just for the city itself, but the town, the village, the whole sort of the surrounding area. What a great time to live in this area.
The Alstom projects, people think of the big one with Amtrak, but of course there's a lot of other contracts too. How are things going at Alstom?
Well, they're still doing great. They're about 800 employees strong right now. I had the opportunity to visit their facilities just a few weeks ago when Congressman Reed was in town, and we toured some of their shops and then had some great discussions with not only the management but some of their employees as well. And it's all positive. I think one of the struggles Alstom was having is trying to finish up some of the old projects to make room for the Amtrak contract, because because there's only so much space allotted for these projects. But that's a great problem to have when you have too much business, right? So they're doing very well, and very excited to have that Amtrak contract, because that Acela line, that's high-speed rail. They're the only ones in the entire country that are going to be producing these high-speed rail cars, and it's a real feather in our cap to have that right here in the city of Hornell. You think about, of all the places in the United States to have a contract like that, to have a project like that, it's right here in our backyard, and that's something to really be proud of. And these cars will be capable of doing 200 miles an hour, and you're not to say that they'll go that fast. Amtrak will actually, have limits on it. I think the fastest they'll actually go is about 160 miles an hour. But think about that, Brian. 160 miles an hour in a train. You're moving along pretty good. So, it's all positive, great things going on. Alstom still has infrastructure upgrades that they're implementing, and they'll continue to implement over the coming months and years. And, and that really sets them up for down the road. That sets them up for future success as well, because once they have those infrastructure upgrades in place, when those other contracts come on down the pike, they'll be in a better position to secure those contracts, to keep their business going, and really avoid those peaks and valleys that we've seen in that industry over the last several years.
We're talking with Hornell Mayor John Buckley live this morning in the studio on the Newsmaker show. John, how are things going with TTA?
TTA is on the upswing as well. They're hiring employees. I know they participated in the job fair that we recently had down at the main place here in Hornell. They're looking for full-time employees. They're ramping up. They have a partnership with Alstom as well, so they're benefiting from Alstom doing well. They applied for a community development block grant to help out with an expansion that they're doing, because they basically ran out of space. They need more capacity to accommodate the work that's coming in. So the city partnered with TTA, and we were successful in getting that grant money to them. So they're going to be rolling that out here pretty soon. But it's all positive. It's just another feather in our cap, and we can't hire employees fast enough in some cases, and that's.
You talked about the job fair. I was looking over the list of jobs and employers that were gonna be there, and I thought, this is a pretty impressive list of employers, and it looked like there were some really good jobs to be had there.
There really are, and in Hornell, in this area, we're really bucking the trend statewide, because a lot of municipalities, a lot of areas are very depressed in New York State. When you get away from New York City, that is, and New York State's been bleeding population for some time, but here in Hornell and the surrounding area, we have we're kind of going against that trend. We have an influx of population, we have an influx of business, an influx of industry, and the arrows are actually pointing in the up direction instead of the down direction. So that's a great thing. We got to keep our eye on the ball and keep this thing going. But yeah, just the fact that we had a job fair. How many other communities in upstate New York are having job fairs? How many communities in upstate New York are have businesses that one of their main problems is they don't have enough employees. So that's a good problem to have.
I guess so. We're talking with Hornell Mayor John Buckley. Mayor Buckley, Hornell was named to the Safe Cities Top 50 list.
Yeah, so that was a nice. I received an email from the organization that does these rankings, and to notify us that we had been named the 50th safest city. Well, it's not just. I should preface that by saying it's not just cities. That includes towns and villages as well. So, but when you think about New York State, and we have 62 counties, and how many towns, villages, and cities do we have throughout those 60 counties? To be named to the top 50 list is it's a pretty nice thing, and it's a testament to our police department and the work that they do, and the community policing that they do, and really how they partner with the community and how they include themselves in different community events. I was at Gus Macker just recently, and our police officers are down there, mingling with the citizens and participating. They were actually shooting hoops out there, and it's great to see, and that's what you want. We've gone through this period nationally where we've had this backlash against police officers, and but it's nice to see, especially here in Hornell, that our police officers really are a part of the public. They're a part of the citizenry, and they have such a great rapport with the citizens and the youth as well. We've got an SRO program at the high school. Curtis Stanford is our SRO officer down there, and he does a great job, having establishing those relationships with the students in the high school. So it's all positive, and another feather in Hornell's cap, another feather in the police department's caps. They do a outstanding job for us year round.
You talk about, and to stop you for a second, you talk about how it's nice that you don't see the nationwide trends of where videos pop up that people take of violent fights with that citizens in different places have with police officers. That's one of the nice things, I think, about being around here. In the newsroom department, I don't get emails from people complaining about this cop or that cop. Nobody sends me a hand-taken a cell phone video of being beaten up by a police officer. The Hornell police and vice versa. You don't get videos of people jumping on and beating up and 2x4s against the police officers. It's nice.
Yeah, you don't have that sort of thing here in Hornell, and I think that's a reflection on the community, and it's a reflection on the leadership we have in the police department. Chief Ted Murray and Captains Mike Sexsmith, they do a great job. Tom Ianni, our lead investigator, does an outstanding job. The drug investigations, and I've made it no secret that was one of my main goals, is to really ramp up the war on drugs here in the city, and I think you've seen that played out over the last 7 or 8 months with the Operation Spring Break, netting the 15 drug dealers, and we've had quite a few more in between. So they all do a really, really nice job, and what a benefit is to the citizens of Hornell to have that round the clock police coverage that we've come to enjoy.
Infrastructure question. The bridge work coming up next year and the year after.
Yeah, so we do have quite a bit of infrastructure work coming up. Next year, we've got 2 bridge projects that'll be going on simultaneously. The bridge on Seneca Street. It's been riddled with potholes every winter, and we do our best to try to keep it patched up. But that one on Seneca Street over by the American Legion, that bridge will be replaced, along with on East Main the box culvert. So when you're actually going over the East Main Street Bridge, there's that second bridge that you don't really notice, and that's the one that'll be coming out and being replaced. So both important jobs. People obviously be inconvenienced for the time that the construction is going on. But the nice thing is, it's once those bridges are in place, you don't have to worry about them for probably another 50, 60, even 70 years. So long after you and I will probably be gone, Brian. But that's that's a nice thing. And actually, the year after, in 2020, the Canasteel Street Bridge, that'll be replaced as well, which has been kind of a sore spot for me because it's right around the corner. It's in my neighborhood, and I've watched it deteriorate for a number of years. So I'm very happy to have that bridge replaced.
We're talking live this morning with Hornell Mayor John Buckley. Going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk state issues and state races. Stay with us.
Our summer sizzler is here. Every week, we'll be picking one winner from each of our local sponsors to win a family 4-pack of theme park tickets. 4 tickets to Waldamer Water Park, Darien Lake Theme Park, Roseland Water Park, Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame, or Martin's Fantasy Island. Register at these great local businesses: in Canasteel, J&J Barbecue and Sausage Company, the Hartman Agency, Annie's Restaurant, and BK's Boutique Florist. In Hornell, register at K&K Auto and Hornell Gardens. Also at Studio 12 in Arkport, Perks Auto in Almond, Duke's Pizza in Alfred, and Way to Grow and Canagadia Country Store in Alfred Station. Good luck from AM 1480 WLEA and Fun 92.1.
Checking in with meteorologist Rob Carroll, who's going to make the weather great again.
You know, Brian, the weather around here really hasn't been that great. In fact, today doesn't look that good either.
Okay, Governor, go ahead.
Start. Weather-wise, looks like things are headed downhill today, Brian. We've got some cloudiness now starting to track up towards the southern tier. Right now, most of it's still to our south, down across Pennsylvania, just south of Bradford to about Erie. It's gotten into Jamestown. It'll push up into the region. So we'll go from sun into clouds today. Watch for some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. It's already raining in northeastern Ohio. Temperatures today close to 85. Sunrise this morning at 6:19. It'll set tonight at 8:09. We'll have showers and thunderstorms during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will be 65 to 70. Friday, showers, thunderstorms as a weak area of low pressure tries to push through the region, 80 to 85. The good news is the showers and thunderstorms are going to come to an end Friday night. We're 65 to 70. Saturday turns partly sunny, 75 to 80. And the great weather, that's going to show up on Sunday. Abundant sunshine and warm, 80 to 85, Brian.
All right, we're back with Hornell Mayor John Buckley, touching on what our meteorologist was alluding to there, Mayor Buckley, the mishap that the governor ran into yesterday. He was trying to criticize the Trump slogan, "Make America Great Again," and somehow it didn't come out quite right.
No, and I saw the video clip, and I was just aghast. I could not believe that the governor, basically what he said, Brian, is America was never great, and I think he shocked the crowd when he said that. The reaction in the crowd was a negative reaction, and I think that was one of those moments where you kind of stick your foot in your mouth. I hope my hope is that the governor doesn't truly believe that the country was never great. I mean, in my view, Brian, the United States of America is the greatest nation in the history of nations, and it's not even close. I hope the governor. I hope his remarks are not a true reflection of his feelings. My hope is he was just trying to take a shot at the president, and the governor. For those of you out there listening, Governor Cuomo and President Trump have had a long-standing feud going back several years, even predating his presidency. So. I think that might be what that is, but hopefully that's not reflective of his true feelings of it.
Yeah, I think it came out wrong. I think he's got a lot of stress out. He's got a lot of he's got Cynthia Nixon there, and he seems to have moved to the left more. And I think he was improvising and kind of misspoke. But
I'm not going to apologize for him, but those remarks were uncalled for. We live in a great country, and we truly do. We're truly blessed. Every day we wake up in the United States of America, regardless of what state you live in, we are truly blessed. If you look at some of these other countries and third world countries, and honestly, Brian, you look at what we consider poor in our country, and the poor in our country, if they would be considered living like kings in some of these third world countries. I mean, what is poor in our country anymore? And instead of having a 65-inch flat screen, you have to settle for the 42-inch. Is that struggling in the United States of America these days? So, I think we've got it pretty doggone good here in the U.S. of A. And as I said, in my view, we're the greatest country in the history of countries.
We're talking live with Hornell Mayor John Buckley. Let's go over some of the races. I mean, you've got Senator O'Mara and his opponents. You've got Congressman Tom Reed, Tracy Matrano, Assemblyman Joe Arrigo, and Marjorie Burns. Let's go over some of those races.
Yeah, so the Joe Arrigo race is probably the most interesting one right off the bat because of the upcoming September primary, which is actually September 13th. It's on a Thursday this year because September 11th falls on the traditional primary day, which would be the Tuesday. So just remember that if you're a primary voter out there, that it's a Thursday this year. But with Joe Arrigo, Assemblyman Arrigo, first of all, he does a very nice job for us, and especially constituent service-wise. Assemblyman Arrigo has a satellite office right here in the city of Hornell, and I've used the term a feather in our cap. Well, that is another feather in our cap. Over the years, how many assembly offices or Senate offices or congressional offices have we had here in Hornell? Not a whole lot, Brian. I think you'd have to go back to the 70s to find the last time we've had that. But Assemblyman Arrigo has maintained an assembly office here in Hornell, and devoted that office to constituent services, which is a great thing for us. And his primary opponent, Marjorie Burns, I think she kind of represents, in my mind, the worst of Albany, and that is the pay-to-play politics that we've unfortunately grown accustomed to. And, we've all seen these stories. I know you've reported on it, Brian, and along with other media outlets, the $20,000 that Marjorie Burns paid to the Conservative Party chairman over in Livingston County, and resulting in her getting on the conservative line. Now, let me take a step back and explain something to the audience. So, a lot of Republicans run not only on the Republican line, but also the conservative line. And in order to do that, the candidate has to get permission to run on the conservative line from the party or the party chairman. Joe Arrigo was tied for first place. So they score your voting record. Joe Arrigo is actually tied for first in the most conservative voting record in the New York State Assembly. So the natural question is, well, if you have the most conservative voting record, why wouldn't you be on the conservative ballot? Why would someone else be on the ballot instead of the most conservative voter, right? So the answer is $20,000 goes to the party chairman of Livingston County. Then that chairman goes to the state conservative convention or committee and advocates for the person who paid him the $20,000 to get that person on the line. And that's what happened with Marjorie Burns and the conservative party line over in Livingston County. I think it's appalling. It's a shame. It's pay-to-play politics. It's unacceptable. And I think that, speaking for myself, I'll be voting for Joe Arrigo come Thursday, September 13th.
All right, with that, we're out of time. We have to check in for the Hannity and Limbaugh updates. Mayor John Buckley, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, Brian. It's always a pleasure to be here, and what a great day we have.
It could be the most amusing race to watch this